Hi, I'm Dr. Katie, the Senior-Centered Physical Therapist, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are doing chair exercises. So I have designed a circuit that we're working lower body and upper body, as well as focusing on posture and abdominals and functional movement. So it's everything in this chair workout. We're gonna increase our heart rate. We might even sweat a little bit, and that's okay. The big thing with this chair workout that I want you to take away is that you can start from the chair and you can utilize the chair to really get a good workout in. And it's much, much better than being sedentary or having that increased inactivity that's been really common, especially since the pandemic. So there's no shame in chair exercises, and we're gonna do a circuit that's pretty challenging. So the things you might need: of course, you're gonna need a chair. You will need a band. These are my new favorite bands. You can check out my website, theseniorcenteredpt.com, to find a link to these bands. I am not affiliated with them, I just love them. Because they have the loops, you can use a lot less grip in your hands, so they're a lot more comfortable. But you can use this kind of band, you can use your typical resistance band, or you can use no band at all. So totally up to you. Also, if you would like a chair with armrests instead of one without, make sure you grab that. Or if you need a countertop or a stable surface to press up against, as we're going to be doing some sit to stands, make sure you have that close by as well. As always, make sure you're cleared with your doctor and your own physical therapist to do any kind of workout. Also, if you are someone that cannot stand up from your chair, and in the last set we're doing sit to stands, don't worry about it. Can you go back to another exercise that you want to improve on? Can you do some arm circles? Can you just shift forward in your chair? Can you shift side to side? Just getting some of that weight in different areas can be really helpful for the whole body, for the skin, for circulation, for everything. So don't feel bad if you can't stand up from the chair yet, that's okay. And don't feel bad if you'll never stand up from the chair, but you're still doing this workout. That's incredible. So I wanna go over all of the muscles that we're working in this routine, so let's start there. First, we are going to do our seated march. So yes, we are going to be working our front of the leg, but we really want to focus on working our deep hip flexors. So that is going to be iliacus, and so is major. So they attach on the internal part of the hip as well as the spine and run down into our femur and attach at that lesser trochanter. So these are the muscles that help us get up and down from a chair and on and off the toilet. So really important to work these. They're so deep, as you can see, we had to remove our abdomen. So it's really important that we focus on using those muscles rather than just the front of the thighs to do our first exercise. Next, we're gonna be doing draw a sword. So we will be working shoulder muscles, so deltoid, rotator cuff muscles, biceps, triceps, so front and back of the arm, as well as working those rhomboids, working our traps, as well as our lats. So many upper body muscles worked in that one little exercise. Next, we're gonna do resisted abduction. So we will use our abductors, so our glute max and our glute med, but we're also gonna use deep rotators. So really focusing on rotating that hip using piriformis, as well as obturator internus. Then we are going to be working our flashers, so working those rhomboids once again, really helpful for posture, opening up the chest. Then for our butterfly heel raises, of course we'll work gastroc with the heel raise, but we'll also work the whole back of the leg. So we're gonna find those hamstrings lighting up as well as glute max and even some inner thigh, so we're working those adductors. Then we're gonna do triceps, so of course triceps, working the back of those arms. And then for our sit to stand, that whole back body. So gastroc, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, biceps femoris of our hamstrings, glute max, erector spinae muscles, and even our abdominals. So that's all the muscles we are working in this video. Let's get started. First, we're gonna go over all of the exercises in this workout routine. So you can do this a couple different ways. One, you can watch all of the exercises that I demonstrate, and then you can do 3 sets of your 8 to 10 reps. Or what we're gonna do is we're going to go through all the exercises and then we're gonna make it a circuit. So we're gonna do 3 rounds of all of the exercises in the circuit. So completely up to you, but if you're following along with this video, we're gonna do it in the circuit format. So the first exercise we're gonna do is seated marches. So when I'm doing my seated marches, I'm gonna sit at the front edge of my chair, and then I'm gonna place my hands on my hips. And what I wanna do is make sure my hips stay stable. So I don't wanna dump from one side to another, because then we're not actually working our deep hip flexors, we're working from the back. So I wanna stay nice and stable as I lift my thigh off the chair and lower back down. And I think about deepening this hip crease as I lift my thigh. And you'll be probably a little bit surprised that this is not a very big movement, but it's a lot of work. The next exercise we're gonna do is called draw a sword. So I'm gonna grab my band. These are my favorite new bands, even though this is not an ad. These are Flex movement bands, and you can find the link for them on my website. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to loop the band around my hand, and then I'm gonna grab onto it, and that's gonna be my stabilizing hand. My other hand's gonna loop, and my thumb is gonna be sticking out. So I'm gonna take my thumb, touch it to my opposite hand, and then pull my thumb up and away. So my thumb is now pointing back towards where the ceiling and the wall meet. Then I'm gonna resist this band as I come down. And the tendency is to let the shoulder do this whole workout. And yes, shoulder muscles are working, but I really want us to think about the scapula moving in the back in order to get that shoulder blade motion that we need for our motion and actually neck motion. So it's really important to work those shoulder blade muscles, and we're gonna be doing that a little bit more in this workout as well. So that is draw a sword. The next one we're gonna be doing is resisted abduction. So you can take your band and you're just gonna tie it around your legs. So I like to do a little crisscross. And what we're gonna do, instead of just throwing our legs into the band, which is kind of the tendency, is we're gonna think about the deep rotator muscles in the back of the hip. So instead of out, I'm gonna think rotate and together, rotate and together. So you'll really feel how this is working the glutes. Rotate and together. Really important for us to have nice, strong hips in order to be able to do our functional movement. If you don't have a band, so I'll set my band down, you can take your hands, put them on the outsides of your thighs, rotate into your hands, and then the benefit of not having the band is you can take your hands, put them on the inside, and find that inner thigh connection as you come back in. So either way works. The band is gonna add a little bit more resistance, but if you just want to use your hands today, over time you can work up to using the band. That's great. Next, we're going to do what's called flashers. So I'm going to grab my band again. For this one, I'm just going to hold the band by the little tapey parts, and I'm going to take my elbows and slide them right next to my rib cage. So my shoulders are back away from my ears, and this one I'm really allowing my shoulder blades to move. So just this little motion at the shoulder blade. You can see my shoulders kind of rotating forward and backwards, and then I add the resistance to it. So shoulder blades move and then relax. They kiss together in the back and then relax. Kiss together and relax. And I'll show you what that looks like from the back as well. After flashers, we're gonna do our butterfly heel raises, so I can set my band down again. I'm gonna take my legs and I'm gonna find a turnout from my thighs. So I lift my heels up and rotate them in. If that is not available to you, meaning you can't put your heels together, you can put a little towel roll or a little pillow in between and squeeze that. But we wanna find that squeeze, that connection into the heels, and you'll feel your whole leg is gonna really start working. So my whole legs are already working, and then I'm just gonna lift the heels and lower. So I'm in this little butterfly position. My weight is on the ball of the first and second toe of both feet, and I lift and lower. And now I'm not only working our gastroc, or our calf muscle, I'm working the back of the leg, I'm working the inner thigh, and I'm working the glutes. So that's our butterfly heel raise. Next, we're gonna do triceps. So I'll grab my band again. Just bending down for this band is a good workout. So I'm gonna hold once again up top at the black tapey part, and I'm gonna take my arm that's stabilizing and I'm gonna tuck it right next to my rib cage. Then my bottom arm is gonna come down towards my rib cage here, but I'm gonna leave a little space between my elbow and my ribs, and I'm just gonna press away and then resist on the way up. press away, and resist. So the reason we resist is we don't want the band doing all the work, because we get most of our strength from that eccentric control. That's that end control right there. So this is concentric motion, and then eccentric motion is that return to our starting position. Lastly, we're gonna do sit to stand. So I'm gonna put my band out of the way, and then I'm gonna turn my chair so you can see me a little bit better. So from here, I'm gonna scoot towards the edge of my chair. Then I'm gonna make sure my feet are underneath me. So the tendency is to put the feet out in front of us, keep the knees at 90, and that's really hard to stand up from. So I want my feet right underneath my chair as much as they can be. And then if you need to push up from the armrest or from the seat of the chair, that's fine. It's something we want to work up to, the ability to stand without having to use our hands. The other thing you can do is you can have a countertop or a stable table in front of you and put your hands there to help with that little lift. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my hands on my hips. I'm going to tip forward and then press through the backs of my legs to stand up. Then I'm going to reach back from my chair, press my hips back, and take a seat. And I tip and I press and stand up. So this is an exercise that of course is very functional. I went way too far back. But one we want to make sure that we can do. We want to make sure we're challenging ourselves, even if we think, oh yeah, I can stand up from a chair, that we're doing that stand up without the use of our hands then. So this is a great workout to be able to progress over time. So make sure you're revisiting it. Okay, that's all the exercises. Let's start our circuit. All right, let's do our seated march. So sitting on the front of our chair, we're gonna deepen that hip crease. We're gonna lift and lower, lift and lower, 1. So we're gonna do about 10 of these. That's 2. Really focusing on the hips, making sure they're not dropping, 3. Keeping everything stable, 4. You'll even feel those abdominals kick on, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Now we're going to move on to our draw a sword. So taking that band, stabilizing, grabbing the loop with my thumb sticking out, and we're going to bring it down and up, down and up. Really focusing on that shoulder blade motion in the back. We're halfway. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're gonna switch sides. So I'm gonna, opposite hand is gonna stabilize, place it down at that hip, and then thumb to ceiling. And you're gonna notice a big difference one side to the other. One shoulder blade might not wanna move as much. That's not uncommon. It's okay. We're gonna continue to work, making sure we're focusing on the motions we want. Don't give up on that shoulder blade. And who knows if I'm counting, but I think this is 10. And take a rest. We also went through that really, really quickly. So if you need to pause the video and slow down the motion, that's completely fine. Next, we're gonna do our resisted abduction. So wrapping those legs, feet are gonna be flat on the floor, sitting up tall, and rotate and rest. And rest maybe isn't the best word because we're gonna rotate and then eccentrically control. So we rotate and control it back in. 1. Good. Here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let go of that band. We're gonna bring it up to our hands to do our flashers. So if you're wondering, why are we not getting much rest? Rest is really important, that's so true. But what we're doing is we're working lower body, then upper body, lower body, then upper body. So we're allowing for rest in the opposite part of the body while we're working. So that's why we're going through this circuit so quickly. It also will help to get the heart rate up as well. If you need to slow it down, that's perfectly fine. There's no shame in that. Once again, this is a way that you can modify and improve upon your workout. So you can make your rest breaks shorter. You can increase the number of repetitions. You can increase your resistance. So over time, you want to use this workout in as many ways as you can to be able to get stronger from the chair. So elbows are in, and I'm just rotating using those shoulder blades to do this motion. So shoulder blades come together and release. I think that was 3. Let's say this is 4. Nice and controlled. 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to watch your PT workout, this is exactly it. We can never keep count even for our own repetition. So it's not just when we're working in the clinic. Next, we're gonna do that butterfly. So I'm gonna set that band down. I'm gonna find that turnout from my thighs and then heels together. And I'm gonna lift and lower, lift and lower. There's 2. Let's see if I can get better with it. Here's 6, squeezing those heels. 8, 9, last one, and lower down. Whew, shake those legs out a little bit. Okay, tricep press. We're gonna do this on both sides as well. I'm grabbing that black tapey part and then making sure there's enough resistance on my band as I pull it down and release. And 5, 7, 9, and 10. And then we'll flip to the other side. So stable with my upper arm, and I pull and resist. They're squeaky bands. 6, 7, making sure we're straightening that elbow all the way. 9, and 10. Okay, next is that sit to stand. Okay, let's do it. 10 of them. Reaching back. That slow control is another, once again, eccentric contraction. So we want to make sure we're building our muscles by really controlling that motion. Here's 6, 7. Once again, if you're not on 7 right now and this is quick for you, that's okay. Just getting as many as you can in is great. Let's do one more. Focusing on building those leg muscles. Okay, we're gonna rest for about 2 minutes and then we're gonna start our circuit again. Seated marches, here we go. I'm starting with the opposite leg than I started with last time, just to mix it up a little bit. Deepening that hip crease. Noticing where your posture's at, making sure that back is nice and tall. Here's 8, 9, and 10. We're gonna grab that band and we're gonna do our draw a sword. Once again, I'm gonna try to start with the opposite arm just to give the brain a little bit of a challenge too. So thumb to hand and then pulling it up. Focusing on shoulder blade. 2. Really resist. 3. Once again, if you don't have a band, you can do this motion without it. Focusing on that shoulder blade. You'll still get some good motion, still work those muscles. I think that's 7. 2 more. Last time. Then we're gonna switch. So loop and unloop. That's a brain challenge too. Thumb to hand and up. Here's 4. You're doing great. Once again, whatever your pace is completely fine. This really isn't about the number of reps we're doing. It's about the quality of reps we're doing. 10, it's arbitrary. Just picked it out of the sky. Are you activating those muscles and feeling that strength work out here and getting a little heart rate increase? We want that too. We're gonna call this the last one. Good, let's take that band, wrap it around the thighs. Focusing on taking those deep breaths here too. So taking these moments where we're readjusting, we're finding our new position. Whew, deep breath, knowing that this is a lot of work, right? Sitting in a chair is not easy. Sitting upright in a chair is not easy. We gotta practice these things to make sure our posture muscles are strong and then working on functional muscles on top of it. So we find that rotation and release. And if elbows out here get tired, you can tuck them in. They can relax a little bit. Noticing too, are you pushing with one leg more than the other? So try to find that even rotation. Let's do 2 more. Good. I'm gonna let that release. And we're gonna do our flashers. So elbows by the sides, shoulders back and down, and we just rotate. Finding those scapulas, kiss in the back. Here's 5 for me. Last one. And I'm gonna set my band down. We're gonna do our butterfly heel raises here. So finding that turnout, heels together, find that squeeze. Really light up that inner thigh as we lift and lower. Still focusing on sitting up nice and tall. Once again, that's work in itself. Here's 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Let's grab that band, doing our triceps. So stabilizing, I think I started with this side last time, so let me see if I can switch it. We're just gonna pull it down and resist it up. Finding that little space between elbow and rib cage. Halfway there. Here's 9 and 10. And let's flip-flop those hands. Same thing, reset that posture and pull and resist. If you're not feeling in the back of that arm, I recommend making sure that elbow straightens all the way. Get that last little inch. Should feel those triceps. Here's 6. 8. 9. 10. All right, sit to stand. Here we go. Stand it up, reach and lower down. So standing up with that power, right? So that speed and strength, because that's something we also lose as we age, is that power. So we can find that explosive motion from the backs of the legs. Lean and press. Two more. Last one. Sit it down. Okay, here we go, our last round. So take that 2-minute rest and get ready. Okay, you know the drill, seated march, here we go. Lift and lower. Should really feel those muscles deep in those hips at this point. I think we're at 4. I need someone to count for me. 7, 8, 9. Last one, make it your best. Excellent, grab that band. We'll do our draw sword. Feel free to shake those legs out. So thumb to opposite hand, making sure you're holding on your band correctly. So thumb and lift. And then the other thumb can stay tucked in there. Here's 3, 4, 7, 'Last 2, best 2 right here on this side. Excellent work. Switch sides. Shake out those shoulders. You're almost there. I'm going to try to untangle. There we go. And I'm going to try to hold it correctly. Last time you think I'd have it by now. Let's go thumb to ceiling. Really depressing that scapula. So I imagine it's going in my opposite back pocket. Press it down. Three more. You've got it. And 10. Woo, excellent work. Okay, let's switch to those legs. Shake out those shoulders. Whew. Heart rate should be up. We are working. I'm sweating. Okay, nice resistance. Bringing those elbows back towards that rib cage if that feels good. And then find that rotation and resist on the way back. Don't forget to smile. It helps make all of this easier. Just a little bit at least. Who knows what number we're on? Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Shake out those leggies. We're gonna come in for our flashers. So at this point, your body should be going, I am getting tired. Yes, that's normal. That is okay. If you can't hit all 10 reps at the end of this, that's fine. If you're watching this video for the 5th time and you're like 10 is easy, see if you can get to 12 in the same amount of time. So once again, this chair workout is completely up to you to kind of design and redesign. So making sure over time you're progressing yourself so you gain strength even sitting. So elbows are in, shoulder blades kiss together, and release. Notice that release once again, nice and slow. So if you're losing reps, that's fine. Don't lose the form. So if that means you have to do 2 and rest, and you'll catch us for the last 2, go for it. Let's go 3 more. Last one. Beautiful. We're gonna set that down. We're gonna find those butterflies. So lift the heels up and come together. I could have said this earlier, but I'm choosing to say it now. A lot of people just want to turn out from the feet. Not the same. We have to lift the heels, rotate, and that rotation is now coming from the thigh. That lights up the whole leg. So if this whole workout you've been saying, I don't feel my upper leg at all, try that lift and connect. So squeeze those heels in and we lift and lower. Ball is on, weight is on the ball of the first and second toe. And we'll go for 3. Find that squeeze and lower down. Oh, shaking out those legs. Whatever feels good there. And we're gonna find those triceps one more time. So stabilizing arm back towards that rib cage, little space. The other one, making sure we have enough tension. That's the beauty of this too. We can let go of some of that tension if we're a little bit tired. Also, if you wanna use that loop, just making sure the wrist stays strong so you're not so grippy, that's completely fine too. So whatever feels good for your body. That's a big reason I love these straps with the loops, is especially if you have some arthritis pain, having the loops so you don't have to hold on so hard is really nice. Here's 7. Last one. Good. Roll it out. We're gonna switch sides. Last set of triceps. Here we go. Pull and release. Here's halfway there. Eight, 9, 10. Woo! Beautiful. Okay, our last push, our big functional, super important motion, sit to stand. You can do this. Okay, nice and strong. If you need to press off the chair, if you need to press down on the table in front of you, that's fine, but we're gonna power it up in those legs. Press. And bring it down. I'm gonna even move my feet a little bit more underneath me as I press and down. There was 3. Here's 5. Halfway, if you need to stop and rest at the top, do so. Here's 8, 9. Last one, we gotta go all the way up and all the way down. Wonderful job. You have completed this workout. You should be so proud of yourself. So pat yourself on the back and take a nice long rest and grab some water. Thanks so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, remember to revisit it. Use this video to progress, to get stronger, to increase that heart rate. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications for all future content for my channel. And also make sure you head over to my blog, theseniorcenteredpt.com, and subscribe there as well. Thank you so much, and until next time, I'm Dr. Katie, the Senior-Centered Physical Therapist. Have the strength to live life to the fullest. Bye-bye.